Thank you all for tuning into this edition of El Cafecito. With us today, we have Rob LeGrand, Associate Professor with the Department of Computer Science with us today. How are you doing?
Howdy, you doing great. Good to
Um,
be here.
Great, great, awesome. I'm Aaron Espinoza, Inclusion and Engagement Leader with the MSAP office. So let's go ahead and get started. First question, what's worse, laundry or dishes in your opinion?
Oh, I don't care about laundry so much, so I guess I'd say dishes. In fact, I try to avoid doing dishes when I can. I pretty much reuse the same big bowl and same spoon over and over.
Uh-huh.
Just simple cooking and just do as little washing as possible.
See, I'm the same. I try to, as much as possible anyway. I'm not the biggest fan of dishes anyway. I find laundry very therapeutic. So I'm the odd man out there, I guess.
Yeah, I don't mind laundry.
So how do you feel about the pickle and popcorn combo?
You mean eating pickles and popcorn together?
Yes.
Okay. I don't really eat pickles or popcorn separately.
Not
So
okay.
I guess I don't have an opinion. Um, I mean, it doesn't sound like they'd go together, but why not? Some
Yeah.
people eat pickles with anything, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's an odd question. It's more of like, I guess more of a Texas thing. I don't know. I've had people
Oh.
from Missouri or Illinois ask like, y'all have pickles in y'all's movie theaters and things like that. I'm like, yeah. Was that like not a thing that you have? It's just a funny thing I like to throw in there.
Okay. Well, I do remember seeing pickles get sold at movie theaters. I grew up in San Angelo,
Okay.
so yeah. Okay. I guess I remember that. I never thought of putting them together, but sure, why not?
When sleeping, do you have the fan on or off?
Oh, that depends because in the winter we keep the house kind of cool,
Okay.
and in the summer we don't keep it that cool.
No.
Yeah, because we're cheap, and I guess in the summer we have it on, and in the winter we pretty much have it off.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends.
I think I'm more of like in that regard. I guess my aspect would be more of blankets. Even if it's 110 degrees outside, I'll have at least two blankets on my bed with me.
So you need the fan to counteract them?
Yes, exactly.
Uh-huh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Mhm.
uh, where's the best place to do some thinking, in your opinion?
Thinking. Oh, anywhere. Anywhere. I'm an introvert,
Yeah.
and I can tune out,
Uh-huh.
and as long as no one's directly interacting with me, I can go into my own world,
Oh yeah.
and I keep a piece of paper in my pocket just in case I come up with any
Yeah.
ideas I want to write down and remember,
That's
but yeah, I can think about anywhere if I
yeah.
have to.
See, I found the best place for me is, oddly enough, it's when I'm driving, which I know that probably shouldn't,
Yeah,
two shouldn't come together, but I can, on long drives, I can zone out pretty easily.
yeah, and listening to certain kinds of music helps me
Oh,
too,
oh yeah.
which I do all day anyway when I have a chance. I'm always listening to music, so yeah,
That's
pretty much anywhere.
awesome.
Yeah.
What was the last gift you gave someone?
Mm. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge gift giver,
Oh no.
and I'm not great at receiving gifts either. That's just a character flaw of mine.
No, not necessarily. I can I
Last time I gave someone a gift, uh, do cards count?
I think that's a fair that's a fair
Um,
standard. I don't know. Not standard.
yeah, I guess.
I think I'm the same.
Um, a card for an anniversary of our first date
Oh,
was
okay.
recent,
There
so
you
that
go.
that
I like
that's
that.
something.
No, I'm definitely there with you. I don't know how to receive gifts. I'm like, I guess there's no right reaction. And I feel like a lot of times I come off as, oh, you didn't like it kind of thing. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
I liked it. I just didn't know how to react.
because I'm the worst actor in the world. So if I'm not immediately amazed and just bowled over by how wonderful the gift is, then I'm probably going to come across as like I don't like it.
Yeah.
And that's probably not the case, but yeah,
Just don't
yeah,
know.
I'm not a good actor.
Yeah. um, what do you work toward in your free time?
Oh, all sorts of things. I always have projects going on. Very often, I'm creating new assignments for future semesters that I
Awesome.
think will be really interesting and fun. I teach computer science,
Uh-huh.
So it's mostly programming assignments, and coming up with new and interesting programming assignments is a lot of fun. Um, yeah, good thing I have the job I have.
I
It's enjoyable.
Yeah, for sure.
it's it's what I like.
So
Um, but I have my own projects, and I do my own research, and I'm always working on lots of little things. And when I have an idea that I want to try out and see how it works, I write a computer program and I run it and I see how it works. You
that's
know,
awesome to just be
so
able
lots of different things.
that's amazing just to be able to put something, your work into play like that. Like I think it's admirable. I really like that. That's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, computers are just the best things ever because they never complain and they never do what you don't tell them to.
Uh-huh.
They do exactly what you tell them, whether you meant to or not. So you have to be really
Oh,
careful.
you got that little bit of human error in there that it's not.
Well, but it's all on the human side, the
Yeah,
error. And even if you've been programming for 20, 30 years,
there's always.
you still say what you didn't really mean, and the computer's not smart enough to realize, oh, you meant this. If
Yeah.
you're writing a computer program, it does exactly what you say, which is good, because like I say, it doesn't make mistakes. But it is nice that you can tell a computer to do whatever you need it to do and then see what happens. And often you'll get results you did not expect.
That's awesome.
Like if recently I've been programming a board game,
Uh-huh.
which I'm going to use in my artificial intelligence class, maybe. I'm
Okay.
still working with it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm trying to build an AI to play the game really well and see what works. If I
That,
try this strategy, does it work well? I don't know. Play it against the other strategies and see how they do.
that's
That's a lot of fun.
that's really
It's,
cool. And
yeah,
even so, you're able to, again, put it into play in that sense and be able to, run those scenarios and say, okay, well, let's see where I can revamp these certain situations. I like that a lot.
yeah. It gives you a lot of freedom. It's
Oh,
nice.
how would you rate your memory?
My memory, not as good as computer memory.
No.
Uh, I think it's usually pretty good, but it depends. Because if I'm trying to remember something, well, that I'm not really consciously trying to remember, if something's not interesting to me,
Uh-huh.
I'm really bad at remembering it.
Yeah.
People call me out on that all the time. We just talked about this yesterday. Yeah, it didn't find its way into my long-term memory because it just wasn't interesting enough, frankly.
That
But if something's kind of interesting to me, I think I have a pretty good memory. I tend to be pretty good at trivia if
okay.
it's something I know anything about.
See, I think when you add that competitive note to it, maybe it becomes a little easier. It's like, oh, I can use this to an advantage or some.
Right, but that's not why I remember things in the first place. It's more just because they're interesting.
Okay.
I might remember, national capitals or something. Not that I know of them all or anything, but I
But
might remember something that's not really that useful,
uh-huh.
and I'm not expecting to go on Jeopardy anytime soon.
Oh yeah.
But um, yeah, it's just interesting to me for whatever reason, whatever I'm remembering, and those kinds of things tend to be more trivia type things, as
Okay.
opposed to did we take the trash out last night? I'll have to look. I forget. I don't care. I don't remember.
Neil
You know,
things. Yeah.
it just depends.
Oh, for sure. What were you like in high school?
Oh, I always looked really young,
Uh-huh.
and I was awkward and introverted and nerdy.
I think that's all.
So, I wasn't all that social. So what would people say I was like in high school? Quiet, nerdy, probably, I guess.
Hey, nerdy's trending, so maybe, you were on the right track.
Nerdy.
You were on the right
Yeah.
track. I don't know. I always found nerdy as like, well, it's not necessarily a derogatory term, like if I was smart, I'd, by all means, I'm nerdy.
Well, nerdy doesn't always mean smart, but
Well, I guess that's true as well. That's true as well.
it always means awkward.
Awkward.
And I don't know that I ever grew out of awkward.
Okay.
But yeah, in high school, I was definitely stay to myself.
Yeah, I
Had
could
a few really good friends, but didn't have a huge group of friends. Didn't go out, didn't party.
see. I wasn't like that in that sense either. I was more of like I was very. I mean, in at least during my high school years, which really wasn't that long ago, it was more of like any chance, like any opportunity I took was more about like how can, I think I was more of the person like, oh, I want to be at work so I can make money kind of thing.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. In high school, I wasn't itching to get out of high school. I was
No.
looking forward to college, and that was exciting, but I really kind of enjoyed high school. And
Okay.
then when I was in college, I loved it, and I wasn't in a huge hurry to get out of that either.
I,
So everyone around me was always, I can't wait to get out of here. I never felt like that.
that's good. I mean, you were there to enjoy the experiences and all of it.
Yeah,
So I think that's awesome.
be in the present moment like a Jedi.
I like that. There you go. I really respect it. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Are you a Mandalorian fan?
I have never seen it.
No.
What's it on? Is it HBO or something? I
It's on
forget.
Disney Plus actually, so it's a bit
Oh, right.
one of
Yeah.
the streaming
Yeah,
things.
we don't have that. So I'll have to wait to see that. But
Yeah.
actually, we are currently watching the Star Wars movies
Okay.
in order. We
Oh,
started with 4, 5, and then
okay.
we went back to 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna watch 6,
Okay.
and then maybe we'll get to the sequels too.
I
But
like that. I like that order, just kind of like
yeah,
gives it a different sense of story than you would through the traditional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
yeah, I forget right now what the order has a name, and I don't remember it, but it really does make sense
Yeah.
because the story gets set up, and then you get the backstory,
Yes.
and then episode 6 really has some weight to it.
Comes full circle essentially. I like that.
Yeah, it sets it up nicely.
What is one thing you're excited and looking forward to?
Watching more Star Wars movies,
There you go.
but more long term, I don't know. I'm excited for the next semester every time. And I'm especially excited for spring semesters generally, because these days I tend to teach courses I really like in the spring for whatever reason. I teach artificial intelligence in the spring, which is so much fun,
Uh-huh.
and also web programming, which is really cool because you can do almost anything with it because computers, desktops, but also mobile devices, they all have a browser, and
Uh-huh.
you can write a program that works in the browser. You can create whatever app you want, basically using just a small number of tools and skills. So yeah, just fun classes in the spring.
That's awesome. I mean, this may be a little bit of a maybe not a smart, I don't know, not a smart question. So when you write programs, depending on the platform you're writing it for, is it like a one size fit all where you can, resize it to whatever you're utilizing it on? Or is it more of a, I have to write it specifically for what it's being utilized? I,
Yeah, no, that's a good question, and that's a really important consideration when you decide what you want to use to write a program or create an app.
uh-huh.
And that's what I like so much about my web programming class. We cover HTML, CSS, and
Okay.
JavaScript, and you can create a web app that runs in a browser. But
Okay.
like I say, anywhere a browser you
It,
you have, then you can run this app. So it's not a native mobile app.
okay.
So it's not just for iOS or Android, or it could run anywhere. And that's kind of nice. That way you don't have to have separate projects for really the same thing. On the
Awesome.
other hand, I teach a handheld game development class, usually in the fall, and that's specifically for Android devices.
That's
So
really
it's not as portable, but it
cool.
runs natively on the device. So it's, it may be a little bit more efficient.
I like
So
that.
there are trade-offs.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it
A
depends.
little bit over my head, but I think I understood the concept at its
No,
base.
no, I'm sure you get it. There's nothing more to it than that, really.
um, did you love working from home or would you rather be in the office? And do you think there's a balance of the both that you like the best?
Well, I never really worked primarily from home.
Okay.
I kept coming to campus
Uh,
even in the second half of last spring semester,
uh-huh.
and obviously this fall, I came to campus all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I get more work done in my office,
Yeah.
probably mainly because I have two monitors, and
Oh,
I just have one monitor at home. And there are certain things I do, especially grading. It's
mhm.
really nice to have two monitors. So I get more work done in my office, but there are certain things I can do from home, and I work from home sometimes.
See, I think, it's a good balance, but like in that regard, I have a double monitor in our office there at the multicultural office. And in that sense, having that second monitor is everything.
Yeah, it can help a lot.
Oh, for sure. What's the first career you dreamed of having as a kid?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't
No.
remember back that far. I'm sure I had career dreams before I remember, but the first one I can remember, I wanted to be some sort of physician.
Okay.
And at the time, the part of the human body that I was most fascinated about for whatever reason was the heart.
Uh-huh.
So I remember thinking it would be really cool to be a cardiologist.
Okay.
It's not that fascinating now. The heart's not that complicated.
No, not in an academic sense anyway.
No, I mean, there's a lot to it, but I mean, the basic workings of the heart is
Oh
pretty
yeah.
simple.
Pretty
You
it's
know, where the blood goes and
uh-huh.
where it has oxygen and where it doesn't. I thought that was fascinating when I was little, but there's not much to it now.
Mhm.
Not nearly as interesting as the brain and the nervous
Oh,
system, and so.
oh yes.
But then I got into math, and then I got interested in languages, and then in high school I found out more about programming. And by the time I got to college, there was no question I was
You knew
in
what you
computer
wanted to do. That's
science. Yeah.
awesome.
Once
Yeah,
I got to college, I never changed my mind.
that's awesome. And even from like a nursing standpoint, I can tell you, heart's pretty easy, but I mean, I don't know. And my idea, the heart is, yeah, exactly like you said, it's a very simple concept to understand, but with very substantial implications, if you will.
Super important.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of parts of our bodies are important, but yeah, the heart. It's a good thing. It's relatively simple.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, for what would you be famous for?
Oh, I wouldn't want to be famous.
No, not at all. Not,
I, like I said before, I'm an introvert.
yeah.
I don't want to be famous for anything, good or bad. But if I had to be famous, I guess I'd prefer to be famous for something that the average person wouldn't really know me for.
Uh-huh.
Like famous for something I did in my research.
See, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, yeah. I research a couple of areas of AI, but especially, well, voting systems really is my
Uh-huh.
specific area. How do you create a voting system where you're electing, a governor or a board of directors or whatever, and make it so that no one has a reason to lie. You want
Uh-huh.
to make it so that no one can manipulate the system just by voting differently.
Uh-huh.
By voting for a major party instead of a minor party, even though they prefer the minor party, that kind of stuff.
That's it.
So if I came up with a really interesting result that got in the papers,
Uh-huh.
you know, I guess I could deal with that, but I wouldn't want to be famous.
See, I agree with you in that, in the sense that I wouldn't want it to be something related to, something of development, if you will. And then, or in my sense, it'd probably be for something that I inadvertently did, I'd become viral for slipping down the stairs or something.
Oh, okay.
That would
Yeah.
be,
Well, I'd rather it be something like that people would forget next month
oh yeah.
than be permanently famous.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Who is your craziest or most interesting relative?
Oh, no comment.
No
No,
comment. Don't want to call anybody
well,
out.
I don't really have a ton of relatives because I come from a pretty small family. I have two younger brothers,
Okay.
and each one of my parents had one sibling.
Okay.
I have a grand total of three first cousins.
Oh wow. All
I
right.
mean, it's really a pretty small family of people who are closely related to me. I don't know that we have anybody. You said craziest?
Craziest or your most what did I say? Craziest or most interesting. So
Oh, interesting. Oh, well, they're all interesting in different ways. But I don't think they're all that crazy.
okay.
We're we're pretty chill.
Nice. Uh, have you completed anything on your bucket list?
Bucket list. I don't know that I have a conscious bucket list.
Uh,
Certainly not that I've laid out carefully. Um, well, I'm a big fan of cricket.
okay.
You know about cricket?
Yeah, are we considering the sport?
Right.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I was like, what sense is he's talking about? I was like,
Yeah. Eh, yeah, cricket is a sport that came from England
uh-huh.
and is played lots of different areas of the world. And it's sort of like baseball, but not really. Who was it? Robin Williams called it baseball on Valium.
Oh
It's
yeah, I remember that quote.
it's it's like baseball except even slower. So if you like football more than baseball, you'll hate cricket.
Oh yeah.
And the games can last up to 5 days. You know,
Yeah.
it's a different kind of sport, but I just love it. And I've already been to England and seen a couple of cricket matches. So
Well, that's
I
awesome.
I mean that's I guess would make it onto my bucket list. I'd like to see more of the world. I'm not a big traveler, and I'm not too adventurous, but there's some parts of the world I'd love to see.
See, and with that being said, I think, in the sense of getting to experience and learn different things from different parts of the world is very, that's very, much, I would consider it adventurous in a sense.
Yeah, the adventurous side of it, though, I don't love.
No, not.
On the other hand, I love languages. So
see,
if I get a chance to try to speak another language, I don't mind that.
see, that's something
Uh,
I'd love to learn to do and have more time for.
yeah. I try to make a little bit of time every single day to do a couple of little tiny language lessons
That's
on
awesome.
Duolingo. I love Duolingo.
Duolingo. I have some funny stories from Duolingo. I just remember that we used it a lot, in grade school. It was more
Oh, yeah.
the passive aggressive owl. I mean, at least it was with me. It was,
Why would the owl say?
he would always cry and be like, "Oh, you didn't do your lessons today. We're not going to be
Right.
very good, are we?" I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, emotional manipulation from the
Oh,
owl.
oh, for sure, for sure.
Right. I try not to miss a day.
Yes, exactly. That's the key, I guess.
So I don't know what the owl says when you miss a day because I haven't missed one in a while, but does it still cry? I don't
Oh, I mean, I'm not sure. It's been a while for me as well.
but I have seen that before. Yeah.
Um, what's your best idea for a reality TV show?
Oh, I do not watch reality TV. Hmm.
That's a
I
tough one.
mean, I'm sure I could come up with some sort of idea, but I just don't watch it normally, so I don't know. I could improve some things they sometimes do though,
Uh-huh.
because again, my research is in voting systems,
Okay.
and sometimes the way they vote to,
You're like,
kick someone off the show or whatever they're voting on right now, they choose a really poor voting system to do
uh,
that. So I have opinions there.
hey, there you go. I like that. In that sense, I'm not very good with reality TV shows either. I
It's
catch
a
it.
pretty narrow sense.
Yeah. um, what's your best knock knock joke that you know?
Knock knock joke. I don't think I remember any knock knock
No.
jokes off the top of my head. If you told me a common one, I'm sure I'd remember it.
See,
Let's see. What else do I have? I have a limerick. Do you want a limerick?
yeah, I'll take it.
Is that good
Yeah, I'll
enough?
take the limerick.
Okay, let me get this right. There was a young lady from Crew whose limericks stopped at line 2.
Oh no, I love that.
That's all
I
I have.
take that. I can, I really admire that one. I'll take it. I'll
Yeah,
take
it's nice and short.
it. What commercial jingle gets stuck in your head all the time?
Um, yeah, I just don't watch enough TV
See, some of
to
these are
get what's stuck in my head. I know I've had that happen, but I
uh,
can't think of one. When I think of commercial jingle, I think of by Menon, by Menon. You
okay. I
know,
was like, well, I'm not sure. I was like, well, I
I
got
mean,
it. I think I
it's
had,
old. I don't think they've used it since the 80s. But probably the only reason I remember that is because they referenced it on Seinfeld,
uh-huh.
which is also over 20 years old. So that doesn't help much. But anyway, that's the only one I can even think of right now.
For me, I can't really call it old. It's the one where it's a very posh family, and they're asking for him to pass the, what is it called? Not the marmalade. He calls it something else. Can you pass
Are you
the
talking about the Grey Poupon?
yes,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I remember that one's like my favorite because the
right.
grandmother faints because he calls it something else, and that one's my, like, I always, when people ask for like which commercial can you not get out of your head, that's the one.
Really? Okay. Well, they've had Grey Poupon commercials certainly since the 80s at
Yeah,
least,
it's
and different ones over the years, but yeah.
that's the one for me.
Mhm.
What invention do you think will be more popular in the next 20 years?
Oh, if I knew, we'd have it next year.
There you go.
There's no way to know that. It's like trying to predict the stock market. If
Yeah.
we knew what stocks are gonna go up, they'd go up immediately because people would buy it. So it's just inherently unpredictable. But if I had to guess, now this is coming from a computer scientist,
Okay.
right? If I had to guess, I'd say virtual reality. And I
Oh,
don't think it's gonna come kind of all at once because
oh yeah.
it's easing in. You know, we already have, you know, VR headsets, and we already have Zoom, and I mean that's virtual reality in a way.
Oh yeah.
I think it's going to slowly sneak up on us, but virtual reality is almost certainly going to be a big deal, and I think it's going to be tricky to decide how long to spend in it. I think that's going to be really tempting. You know, already people are addicted to the internet or addicted to Facebook or whatever, you know. And I think that's going to get tougher and tougher to balance the life you knew and the life your body was evolved to deal with all this new stuff. And new stuff, it's good to have these different options, but yeah, we're going to need to make careful decisions as individuals, and yeah, we'll see what happens with that. It'll be interesting.
So in that sense, I guess my next question for you, well, to add on to it, because it'll be a gradual integration of that virtual, virtual everything essentially is, you think about, I guess for example, TikTok. 50 years ago, we wouldn't have had it's those new, I guess the new generational problems, if you will. Someone 50 years ago wouldn't have to worry about their internet usage time. How do you feel? I guess what I'm trying to say is, again, we'll have those problems where we're worrying about more usage time and differentiating what's too much and what's too little. What do you think?
Mhm.
Do you think there are any other problems with that will arise with those different, evolution?
Well, yeah, the trade-off there is just what's healthy for you.
Hmm.
Because if don't get me wrong, if virtual reality gets to be just as real as reality,
Hmm.
then there might not be any downside to spending a lot of time in it. You may not hurt your eyes. You may not, if we get it really good,
Uh-huh.
we there may not be too much psychological damage
Uh-huh.
from that. But then the line between reality and the
Just
virtual world blurs, and that has its own problems.
yeah, oh yeah.
So it's really just a question of what's good for us.
Yeah.
Again, having the options is great. I'm not saying that I'm dreading new technologies. I mean, I'm in computer science.
Oh,
I love new technologies, and
the line.
I don't think they're always good, but I think it's always good to have the option for them.
Yeah.
Uh, they may make our lives better, but we need to be careful about what the impacts are, and how much time you spend, and your relationship with the real world.
Yeah.
Reality is still there,
I like
and,
that. I like that
and
outlook.
we'll need to deal with it. Yeah.
I like that. It's a very, approach with caution kind of thing. I like that. Um, if you had a boat, what would you name it?
Oh, a boat. I wouldn't have a boat,
No,
but
not
if I had to have a boat and be famous, let's see. How are you supposed to name a boat? It has to have a female name?
I'm not sure. I'm not too sure. I'm not much of a boat. I'm very much very pragmatic about things. And when I thought of a boat, immediately I'm like, man, this is going to be an insurance hassle kind of thing. I'm like, what kind of this
Yeah.
constant maintenance on something that I'm never going to use? I don't know. That was just my thing.
I'm the same way. I'm materialistically very simple. I
Yeah,
don't need a bunch of stuff. I love books. I love movies and music,
yeah.
but I don't need big stuff.
So,
So if that's a good enough answer for you, I just wouldn't
I
have a
like.
boat. Is that
We
fair?
well, we can turn it into something else. When you say books, what do you prefer as a book? Are you more of a hardcover or a paperback person?
Oh, okay. Uh, I own a lot more paperbacks just
Oh yeah,
because they're cheaper and easier. Gladder and hardback, they're nice.
yeah.
But I don't have as much of a preference there. I
Uh,
much prefer a physical book to a virtual book.
I as
And this
well.
is again coming from a computer scientist, but I'd rather have pages that I can turn,
Yeah.
and yeah, I like using a physical bookmark, and
Yeah.
I like having bookshelves, although
There's
they're really expensive. Ugh, I wish
wild.
I could get cheap bookshelves.
See, and that's always my thing to it. My logic with it was always, I don't have to charge a real book. When it comes to like Nook or like ebooks and things like, I don't have to charge it. I can just pull it off the shelf, kind of thing. But
Yeah, and I mean, it's a nice trade-off to charge it and then have a lot of books on it that you
oh
can
yeah,
take on a trip. I get that, but yeah, I'd much rather have a physical book in my hand
there's just something
and
satisfying.
turn pages.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but in the sense, they're
The
paper.
real world is important.
Yeah, paperback's versatile, but I don't know. I'm really partial to hardcover. I don't know why. Anytime I can get a set of books, I'm like, well, even if I have to spend an extra $5 just so it looks nice, kind of thing. I don't know. That's just
If it's a really important book, yeah, I'm with you.
um. If you could create a holiday, what would you create?
A holiday. Not much of a holiday person, really. Every day's wonderful.
I like.
Uh, let's see. We already have a Constitution Day.
Uh,
You know, uh, I don't know what I'd create. Um, Be nice to everyone day. Every human's a human day.
good one.
Do we have stuff like that?
I'm not so sure. I mean, I'm sure we have things sort of like it, but I don't think we have one specifically. Just a kindness day. I think that'd be good.
Ooh, I bet we do have a kindness. That's a good name.
Kindness. Oh, there you go.
I'll bet you there's a. I bet you there's something Kindness Day.
Okay,
Huh? That sounds familiar, actually. World Kindness Day.
possible.
I don't know.
We may have stumbled onto something. So
Well, if it doesn't exist, we can make something.
we'll coin it. There we go.
I'm sure we could find one day of the year that's not used.
There you go. What game show? I guess we're going back to the whole Jeopardy thing. What game show would you be great at?
Oh, I wouldn't be great at game shows. Actually, over 20 years ago, when I was in college,
uh-huh.
so you know how old I am.
Ah.
I I did some online Jeopardy.
Oh no.
I mean, online back then was relatively primitive, but yeah, I went through a few rounds of what they called online Jeopardy. I didn't get very far, but I got far enough for them to send me a T-shirt and a couple of
That's
VHS
cool.
tapes or something. I forget.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I mean, I guess I'd be okay at Jeopardy, but nowhere near enough to make it on the actual show. Those guys are good.
Yeah.
So I'm never gonna be able to meet, well, Alex Trebek, obviously, but
Uh,
Ken Jennings or anyone like that.
that'd be cool.
I don't think I'd be any good at any other game show either, though, because I'm not lucky
Uh-huh.
and I'm terrible at Wheel of Fortune, really.
See,
So
I'm with you there. I'm not very much one for like games of chance, almost like taking a gamble or a risk at anything really. I'm more of a person, maybe Jeopardy just because I know I would have some sort of, ability to answer those questions, but not anything where I'm just throwing caution to the wind and I have really no idea if I'm gonna win or not.
yeah, I wouldn't even be good enough at Jeopardy, but that's the one I would want to try.
Okay. I like
Yeah.
that. What board or no, almost skipped one, sorry. If you were in a witness protection program, what would be your new name and where would you go?
Witness protection. Okay. Well, obviously, I'd like to avoid that. On the other hand, I'm an introvert, so keeping a low profile wouldn't be
Wouldn't be
hard
too
for
hard.
me, I
Yeah.
think. Hmm. Um, well, let's see. If I have to stay in the USA, my dad's from North Carolina and my mom's from Mississippi, so I'd probably want to try living somewhere else in the South.
Okay.
In fact, they met in Nashville, so
Kind of
I'd probably go to Nashville. That's a cool city.
I like that. Yeah, it is.
And I guess I'd need a name that would make people want to leave me alone. So something unpronounceable. I'd probably pick some Scandinavian weird name. I don't know.
Yeah. Just try to be as not necessarily unapproachable, but people are afraid. I don't know, maybe afraid, carry an air of mystery.
Yeah, walk fast, look down.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know.
What board game would you say that you hate the most?
Oh, hate the most. Yeah, I have a quick answer to this one.
Right, do you?
I hate Monopoly. Monopoly is the worst game because it feels like it's trying to be a free market simulation,
Uh-huh.
and it's not at all. I
No.
mean, it's like someone, I don't know the story of Monopoly, but it's like someone who came up with or tried to come up with a game that simulates capitalism or the free market or, and just had no idea how it works. And so you land on a space and you owe money and all this stuff. It's just ridiculous, and it's not a very interesting game to me. I mean, I know it has some strategy, but I never really enjoyed playing it. And everybody has their own different rules. It's
Yeah.
just an irritating game.
See, and in that sense, I think that it's very much so that strategic sense that draws people. So, and I'm the person that everybody hates to play Monopoly with because I will not spend any of my money, and
Oh,
I'll have us going round and round in circles and just collect. I got to a point where we were in a literal yelling match, my family and I, because
man.
I was uh I was choking the economy in the sense of the game because I wasn't spending money. I was holding it all. I don't know. I don't know.
So you hoarded money and you never bought any properties?
I didn't. I always had to pay every go around, but
Right.
it was at a slow pace that I didn't have to worry enough. Well, I can pay you and not have to necessarily worry about losing that much money, but I'm still
Man,
choking.
now I don't play Monopoly unless I'm forced to. That doesn't seem like a very good strategy. Did it work out?
It did. It did end up
Huh.
working out. It took a minute, and that's probably why everyone was irritated, is that it took so long, but I wasn't spending any money at all. So I
Well, I
essentially
thought the whole point. Oh, go ahead.
no, 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 you're fine.
I thought the whole point of Monopoly was to get a monopoly on a certain, group of properties, and then the rents go up, and you can build hotels, and once you do that, you land on that just once, and you're wiped out.
See,
So
I'm not
I
sure.
don't know. I guess I don't know Monopoly too well then.
See, and it may have just been a unique set of uh scenarios that allowed me to do that. I can't remember too well. It's been a long time, but uh I'm not too sure. I'm not sure if it was because that, essentially these properties were divided or whatnot. But
Yeah.
I was in a place where I'm sure it's not something that I could do just right like every time. Like it had to have been something that was unique to that situation. I'm not sure. But
Yeah, well, you know more about Monopoly than I do. And I'm sure not buying any properties is smarter than buying properties, but not being smart about it.
there you go. Yeah.
If you're just buying a property and you don't even try to create a group of three or whatever, then you're
I
not
guess
going to get anything out of it.
yeah. Uh
Yeah, okay, I'll buy that.
what is one thing that you refuse to share?
Refuse to share. Share. Refuse to share. Well, these days it's space.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, that's an obvious answer, but I'm pretty paranoid about this whole virus stuff, and
Uh-huh.
I literally stay more than 6 feet away from everyone if I can help it, as far away as I possibly
Uh,
can, with a mask on. So I'm pretty extreme about it.
I think that
Uh, so I mean, sharing space, that's
I think that's
probably my best answer these days.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah, I can't think of another good answer on that one.
Well, no, I mean, because with me, I'm more like I need, kind of like my offset kind of thing. Don't touch any of my stuff, really. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird.
No, I'm kind of like that too. I guess I'll say CDs. Not that anyone would want to borrow any of my CDs because I
uh,
have really strange music tastes.
uh,
But I love my CD collection, and I'm a little particular about it. And I don't think I like lending books so much either.
me either. I feel like there's just a certain way you have to treat a book, and if I feel like you don't meet those standards, I won't trust you with my books.
Right. I remember I lent a friend a paperback in college, long time ago,
Mhm.
and he gave it back to me, and the spine was all creased in different places, and
Oh,
it's no big deal. Now it's a book that has a story. That's fine.
yeah.
I mean, you know, more than one kind of story, I guess. But the the way other people might treat my books, yeah, I'd rather.
It's
I'm a little particular about
yeah,
things like that.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm probably like you.
for sure.
Yeah.
Um, what kind of phone was your first cell phone?
Well, my first cell phone I got in 2000,
Uh-huh.
and oh, I don't know. It was probably a Nokia
Okay.
back then, and it was a little brick phone. It wasn't huge, but it was a
Yeah.
little brick. Certainly wasn't a flip phone or
Uh-huh.
obviously not a smartphone back then. And it had physical buttons that you depressed.
Uh-huh.
It was depressing. And it had this little screen with huge pixels
Uh-huh.
that could, show a few digits of a number or maybe letters or something,
Uh-huh.
just a really primitive screen. Certainly not a touch screen. And I had that phone for about 2 or 3 months,
Oh, wow.
and I haven't had a cell phone since.
Really?
Not in 20 years. Not interested.
Nothing? Nothing
Yeah,
at all? How I mean, well, I guess then how do people reach you then? I mean,
exactly.
I'm like
No, I mean, the last thing I need to be is more reachable, you know what I
that
mean?
yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I have a mobile device. In fact, I have to have a mobile device for me to teach the handheld game development course, so it really belongs to ASU.
Uh-huh.
But I have that with me, not all the time, but, sometimes, and I can use it to keep up with email and check the latest sports scores and
Okay.
Duolingo and, so, but for a phone, no, I just use landlines.
Okay. I like that then. I think, different people have different things, For me,
Yeah.
in that sense, I was very I guess this is kind of different. It was more of a social media thing, but I just pulled out of social media for a while. And so, coming back to it was really like, I don't want it kind of thing. So I guess in that regard, I can be like, if I haven't had it for so long, why do I need it kind of thing? And
Yeah, and I remember getting into Facebook long ago when it was just for universities and you had
uh
to be invited and they had to open up Facebook at your university.
for
It
you.
wasn't available everywhere, and back then it was kind of fun because it wasn't global.
Yeah.
Um, I I still have Facebook. I don't do much with it now.
Mm, uh,
Yeah, and I don't use much else really. You said what was the one you mentioned earlier? Did you say TikTok?
yes, TikTok, yes.
Okay, yeah, I forget what that is. That video?
So
Is
it's almost like short. I think it's like a maximum of like I want to say 15-second videos, and
Oh,
people just do
okay, that's the
amazing
gimmick.
things. Yeah,
That makes sense. So
yeah.
it's like the Twitter of YouTube.
Yes, there you
I
go.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's TikTok. When you said TikTok, I think I thought of Yik Yak, which hasn't been around for years now, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
But I remember when Yik Yak was a thing for a couple of years, and
yeah.
yeah, okay, TikTok. I know what that is. I have never tried to use it, but yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't think you're missing much. It's highly addictive. You waste hours on it.
Well, I don't teach the social media course here, so I don't have to keep up with all that
There you
stuff
go.
really.
There you go. If you inherited or won $1 million, what's the very first thing you would do with the money?
I
Aside
I
from
don't spend a lot of money. Sorry, say what?
aside from paying the taxes on it and whatnot.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, I would pay the money I need to keep me out of jail,
There you go.
but I just don't spend that much money.
Uh-huh.
I still buy CDs
There you go.
and
Maintain
books.
tradition.
I wear cheap clothes. This shirt was free.
Hey,
Uh, I don't have a fancy car. I have a small house. I don't have a lot of expenses. So I'd probably just invest it and try to retire a little sooner.
that's is to invest. There you go.
Although I love my job, so I mean, I don't want to retire anytime real soon. But yeah, having that flexibility would be nice. I
I
can't think of anything big I'd spend it on. In the long run, I guess I'd spend it on traveling
see. I
at
agree with
some
you.
point.
I agree with you. I think traveling and just living, living modestly, but knowing that you have again that flexibility and that comfort. I don't really have to worry about it. It's there if I want it, but I guess
Agreed.
I guess it's more of a choice thing. I don't know.
That's
What
my
are
personality.
there you go. What has been the best part of this semester, in your opinion?
This last fall semester,
Oh, yes.
fall 2020. That was a rough semester.
Oh, yes.
Um,
I think it was
yeah,
rough on everybody.
it was tough because I was teaching some classes that are kind of tough in a good semester, but then you've got to accommodate students who don't come to class or don't come to campus at all.
Uh-huh.
And so I decided to make videos in
Mm,
advance as opposed to try to record or stream the
yeah.
actual live lecture in the classroom. And I did that because I thought the quality would be a little bit better, but also because I wasn't sure, I just wasn't 100% sure that I trusted the technology to work every single day and do exactly what I needed to.
Mhm.
And yeah, I wasn't sure that I wouldn't mess up.
Yeah.
If anything messed up on that one day, the whole day would be lost.
Yeah.
'Cause, some of the students wouldn't get the video or, they'd miss out completely.
Uh-huh.
So I just figured I'd nip that in the bud and just do videos in advance and try to make the quality really good. And that was so time consuming.
I bet.
It was probably worth it because I got good feedback and I think it worked okay. But it just took so much time.
Yeah.
Uh, didn't have any time for fun this last semester.
Uh,
So what's the best thing? Didn't make it to any sports.
it was a tough, overall.
Yeah, usually I like to make it to some sports games and just, take a little break here and there. That was tough.
See,
Um, like volleyball, I'm almost glad that volleyball moved to the spring
so you could
because
do
I wouldn't have been able to make it to any volleyball matches in the fall anyway. That's my favorite ASU sport by a long shot. Um, I guess my favorite thing was my handheld game development class. They
okay.
do a midterm project and a final project,
Uh-huh.
and they come up with their own games. And I help them, but they can design their own game,
Uh-huh.
and it's really fun seeing what they come up with. And some of them end up really inventive, some of them end up really good and fun to play, and so, yeah,
Uh,
it's fun to see what they do.
that's awesome. I like that. And then, back to the sense of recording videos from a student perspective, I think I really appreciated when my professors, put those videos out. You know, there were a couple times where I showed up to the actual stream and I faced a lot more problems than I did just watching the video and listening to my lecture. So
Okay.
in a weird sense, I think I really appreciated the video more because I was able to, for one, if I had to work, I was able to work more while also getting my studies done at my own pace, my own time.
Yeah,
And relatively anyway, within the time period that's given. So
it does make it more flexible for those of you who are really good students with good study habits and good motivation. I think what happened in my classes a lot this last semester, students realized that they didn't 100% have to come to class. No, a lot of them did, and I think they got a lot out of it.
mhm.
But if they realized they didn't have to, then you wake up in the morning and your bed's all cozy and do I go to class right now or do I watch some video later? And it's just so tempting not to go to class. And I think a lot of students missed out on that. And
See,
some of them did fine, but a lot of them thought they were going to watch the video later and didn't, or whatever.
yeah, I
And
can see that.
just didn't consider what was best for them. And kind of like what we were talking about with virtual reality or
Mhm.
online, social media, whatever.
Yeah,
You have to be smart about what's going to be good for you in the
yes.
long run and do what's in your best interest. And
Mhm.
sometimes that's not obvious, especially with we're faced with all these new technologies, new things we can spend our time on. We have to be careful.
Oh, for sure. And it's a balance with all of it, really. I'm
Yeah,
definitely
and
a.
I struggle with go ahead.
Oh, I was. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this online stuff, right? I struggle with motivating my students. I almost have to be a psychologist to
Ye-
figure out what's going to be better for them, what's going to help them make the right decisions.
Uh-huh.
And I'd like to trust them to make all the right decisions, and a lot of them do. But if I can do something that will make the better decision easier for them to make, I'll try to do that.
That's awesome. That's great. I really like that. Um, Again, I guess that goes kind of into the next one. What trait would you say defines your style of instruction?
Oh, okay. Well, ideally, when we're teaching face to face,
Uh,
I like to be super, super, super prepared beforehand and have notes, but not really have to look at my notes much.
Okay.
They're there if I, but I want to be so prepared that it just flows. It's organic and natural in
Uh-huh.
class, and I can concentrate on getting the ideas across, and then talking with the students and having a more of a dynamic, back and
Yeah.
forth kind of almost a discussion when it comes to it. And that works better in some classes than others. That works
Mhm.
great for like artificial intelligence because no one has all the answers, but we can talk about some really interesting and important issues. And this approach might work well on this problem and so forth. Um, but it really depends on the course. Some other courses aren't really lecture based so much at all. Some of my programming courses, I try to give them the bare minimum of the information they need to get them started.
Mhm.
And then I give them an assignment that has instructions. And I
Mhm.
try to make as much class time as possible to let them work on it.
Uh-huh.
And I call that a studio format. It's a studio in the sense of like an art studio.
Yeah.
You know, you're you're learning by doing.
Mm.
You come to class and you get some information, but then you work through it and you create something and you gain skills by using them. So anyway, that's the idea there. It just depends on the course.
I like that. It's very, very easily to adapt to whatever you're teaching. I like that.
Yeah, I try to teach each course the way that it is asking to be taught, if
Yeah,
I can help.
that's
But of course,
amazing.
my personality comes into it too. I'm not capable of teaching certain ways that might be better. I don't know.
Yeah. It just depends, I guess. Um, if you could master one musical instrument, what would it be?
Musical. Oh, I love music,
Uh-huh.
but I'm more of a music appreciator.
Yeah, then you
And
are
a
totally
perf-
agree.
when I was little, it was probably like 7 years of piano lessons.
Uh-huh.
And I enjoyed it, but my heart was never really into that. And I'm sure I didn't put in the effort to be any good. I never became any good, that's for sure. And I've never really played an instrument since then. Um, I like trying to create music, and notice how I say trying to create music.
Right.
I'm not any good at it. But I am a computer programmer, and so writing a program that plays music is a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Again, not that I end up with anything anyone else would enjoy, but I enjoy that a whole lot. So if you count that as an instrument,
I
sure.
I think that's fair. So with that being said, with your piano experience, are you able to apply what you utilize during your piano years into the way of writing the program or not really?
Not much. Now it helps to be able to read music,
Yeah.
and I can't like sight read music, but
Uh,
I know what the notes mean, and
uh,
I, I can read it slowly and
okay.
very carefully and consciously.
Uh,
But my favorite thing to do is experiment with all sorts of different weird things. So the notes on the piano, I don't even stick to those
uh-huh.
because that's just an approximation
Yeah.
of what our ears really hear as consonant.
Uh,
Like that it sounds good together. And the piano is tuned these days in such a way that it sounds pretty good. It's close enough and it works on all these different keys. But when you write a computer program that creates music, you can use whatever notes you want.
that's
So
true.
if you want to make the ratio of the frequencies just right to make it sound the way you want, you can use anything. So yeah, piano doesn't really help me. But if I had to pick a real instrument, I guess I'd probably pick piano just
Oh,
because it would be the most useful.
okay. I I like the idea of, you writing the program for you. That's really cool. I would have never didn't really ever think about it in that approach. That's really cool. I like that.
It's fun, but again, it's not like I'm a composer or anything. I'm no good. I wouldn't share this with anyone really, but it's fun to fool around with.
That's awesome. If you found out you were the direct descendant of a king or queen, would you go find them and claim your throne or keep your life as it was?
Well, I definitely keep my life,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't even want to know. Um, Actually, it's kind of funny.
Uh-huh.
Some of my own family research, and this was done by people I barely know,
Uh-huh.
uh, they came to the conclusion that we might be related to a French king from way, 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 way back. If you go
Cool. Yeah.
father to father to father to father back, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost certainly not true.
Uh-huh.
And even if it is true, it means nothing.
Yeah.
But um, yeah, I remember seeing that when I was little. So I've always felt a little bit of a connection to France because of that. Um, but I mean, French kings don't even exist anymore, so
Yeah.
there'd be nothing to inherit, and I wouldn't want it. I
There you go.
mean,
And
what a terrible life that would be. You'd
yeah,
be in the spotlight, but you'd
all
also
the
have
time.
so many duties and obligations, and ugh.
Too much monarchies,
I'd definitely rather be. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What do we even support a monarchy? I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Eh,
better than some things, maybe, but
yeah.
yeah, I'd rather be a normal person alive today than the
Maybe.
most powerful person in the world in the 1800s.
Yeah. That's
That's for
awesome.
sure.
What is something you are currently obsessed with?
Currently obsessed with. I don't think I have a current obsession. I mean, I have long-term obsessions with certain kinds of music and,
Okay.
you know, cricket or baseball
Uh,
or yeah, stuff like that. You know,
I
computer programming, obviously.
uh,
So I have big, big, big interests. I don't know if you could call them obsessions.
I guess an interest would be like, maybe not, maybe obsession is to the point of excess. So maybe interest is, moderation. Uh,
Well, my interests have gone to excess before.
okay.
I mean, my interests get pretty deep, but I don't think I have a current obsession that's new or anything really. I don't have a show that I'm currently watching that I can't wait to see the next one of so
Yeah.
much. Recently, we watched a show called The Queen's Gambit about a chess player on Netflix.
Is it,
That was really good. We got
would you
into it.
recommend?
It's like 7 episodes,
Okay.
so yeah. I kind of doubt they're going to make any more. I don't know.
Uh,
Maybe they could, but so that was a short-lived obsession, I guess.
okay. That's right. I'll have to try it. I saw it come out and, everyone was giving it a lot of hype. So I don't know, maybe it doesn't catch my eye at first, but now, I keep seeing it more. I'm like, oh, I have to give it a shot now, kind of thing.
Yeah, and you may or may not like it, but I thought it was really well done.
Okay.
Very interesting. Yeah, very cool.
I'll give it a shot then. I will. No. When did you first feel like an adult?
Never.
Never?
Adult? Nah. No, I mean, I feel like I try to be a kid in the right ways and an adult in the right ways. I think I acted like an adult when I was little. I
Uh-huh.
always preferred to be with older people than with people my own age.
Uh-huh.
And now that I'm older, I try to live my life and have fun and,
Uh,
do what I enjoy and do what makes me happy. And, so I try to be a kid in the right ways, if that makes sense.
I think
I don't think I ever had a point where I felt like, oh, now I'm an adult.
uh
Because when I was in high school in the summer, I would go to academic summer camps sometimes, and I'd live on a college campus for, 2 weeks or something
mhm,
and get a feel for what it's like to be in college.
mhm.
And then by the time I got to college, I knew more or less what to expect. And when I got a real job, I never felt like there was some transition. It
Yeah.
was always it was always gradual, and I was always me. And I've never thought about it that way, really.
That's good though that you were able to take everything in straight, and I think that definitely benefited you. And I think it's different for a lot of more so
Yeah.
now. So many people go and jump into something that without any real idea. So I guess in that sense, you were better off than most.
Take it in stride, not necessarily all the time, but
Yeah,
I mean, I've had to adjust to things.
yeah,
But I've never felt like I crossed a barrier, and
yeah.
now I
Okay,
mean, on my 21st birthday, I had a beer. Is
yeah.
that, I guess,
I mean, for me,
that's
for my 21st, I felt that at some point it was going to stop working. I was like, oh, does it? I don't know.
stop working?
Yeah, like I would flash my days like, ah, not no more kind of thing. I don't know. It was a weird thought I had.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Uh, What was the hardest class in your entire academic career?
Yeah, okay, let's see. Oh, okay. Computer graphics. When I
Yeah.
was at A&M,
Okay.
uh, I we had to take certain computer science electives,
Uh-huh.
and I started the semester taking a class called compilers,
Uh-huh.
which I later found out is really interesting. And in graduate school, I was the TA for compilers,
Uh-huh.
and it's good stuff. So nothing against compilers, but the first week of class just didn't seem very interesting, and the instructor just didn't do it for me. So I changed to computer graphics,
Uh-huh.
which sounded exciting, and it was, but oh man, it was a lot of work. It
Yeah.
was so hard. We had to learn all of the math behind all of it,
Oh,
do
no.
everything from scratch. We
Uh-huh.
had a lab due, I'm pretty sure it was every single week, like a big, big, big project kind of assignment.
Oh, no.
And I would be up in that special graphics lab
Uh-huh.
late, late, late at night. And we'd get so tired and just overwhelmed with the work that we'd have to relieve the pressure, and we would log into each other's machines
Uh-huh.
and eject the CD-ROM drive and then log out, and no one would know who ejected. I mean, we were so desperate for
Just
relief
do
from
everything. Mhm.
hard work, but it was fun, and I got an A, and I'm
There,
probably prouder of that A than any other class.
there you go. I like that. I was like, I like that. I think
Those A, or it doesn't have to be an A, whether it's a B or a C or anything. If you feel like you really earned it, you can feel proud about it.
really, I guess the camaraderie of camaraderie. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm so sorry. Of like, that shared suffering, I guess. I don't know. I guess it's something that all college students sort of, come
Oh
together.
yeah,
But
and yeah, that class created more camaraderie than all of my others. Although I did also build bonfire at A&M, and
oh, that's really cool.
really know your friends there. That is hard. Actually, that was way more work than any course.
Oh, I bet. I can
It was
imagine.
mostly hard physical labor, but still.
Yeah. Um, what is the scariest fear you've ever conquered?
Fear I've ever conquered.
And
Ah,
I guess it's relative, People have
yeah,
different.
Uh, I don't I don't know if oh, okay, okay. I guess public speaking,
Public speaking's tough. Public
because
speaking.
again, I'm an introvert, as I've probably said several times.
Uh,
Actually, I took public speaking here at ASU.
nice.
I went to A&M, but one summer I got my public speaking requirement out of the way when I was here at
Okay.
ASU, and that was tough. I had to have my index cards, and I had to have it all planned out. I had to look at my index cards all the time and have my little props ready or whatever. That was very difficult. But over the years, I've learned if I'm really into the subject
It's
and I know it well,
uh-huh.
and I'm excited to tell other people about it, then I think I can do okay. But I still get nervous.
Oh yeah,
I,
for sure.
I'm not a natural public speaker, so I guess I've conquered it.
See, and I think in that sense, I don't think anybody really, I don't think we ever get to a point where we're just not nervous. I guess I'm not sure. I know I get nervous. I think my strength lies within the preparation, but I can very royally fumble the execution. I can prepare
Yeah.
months and months in advance and still be extremely frightened once I get up there, and nervousness will ruin that for me.
Yeah, the preparation is so important for me.
Hmm.
And knowing my subject in advance anyway, but
Yeah,
to be prepared for that one specific presentation, whatever it is, yeah, that's so
definitely.
important. Because otherwise, I'm not a good actor. I'm not good at winging it.
Yeah,
I need to have something that I can fall back on just in case I need it,
yeah.
and then I'm okay. Then I can get more relaxed. But yeah, I still get nervous. Certainly, like the first day of class in the semester. Yeah, if you're a student in my class, yeah, I'm probably nervous. You might as well know.
Okay. Final question. If you could commission any artist, living or dead, to create art for you, who would you choose?
Ooh, an artist.
Yep.
Is this any kind of art?
Any kind of art, does not matter.
Okay. Well, I would pick music then.
Music? Okay.
Do they have to be alive?
Living or dead, so anybody
Living
really.
or dead? Sorry. Okay.
Oh, you're fine.
Uh, yeah, it would definitely be music for me. Nothing against painting and so forth. I mean, I love all kinds of art, but
But if,
music is what I love. Hmm. Oh gosh, it'd probably be somebody no one's ever heard of. But yeah, I have a number of classical composers I really, really, really like,
uh,
and musicians that aren't, more classical composers that I really, really like. But gosh, that's going to be hard to pick just one that really stands out. I don't know.
there's just too much that you love. I think that'd be a tough one, you know?
Yeah, there's too much that I love. In fact, I need to buy a new set of CD shelves at some point because I'm starting to run out of. Again, that's the one thing I spend any money on, really. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I could name a composer that no one's ever heard of, but it would be music
Oh,
anyway.
I like that. I like that. I think it's, when we think of art, our automatic thoughts, paintings, sculptures, and things like that,
Yeah, sculpture, that's a good one too.
different
But
different forms of art, I guess.
yeah, I would pick music. I couldn't go very long without music. In fact, I'll pretty much every time I notice that I'm starting to feel a little bit down,
Uh-huh.
I just feel like, ugh, I don't get that feeling very often. But when I start feeling not even depressed, but just a little bit down, I
Mhm.
realize, oh, I haven't listened to music in a couple hours,
Music
and
is
I
important.
don't need music while I'm lecturing or anything, but
Uh,
when I'm in my office and I'm getting my own work done,
uh-huh.
I'm playing music all day,
See,
just all day.
and I think I'm right there with you. I think, for me, there was a struggle, and again, going back to the semester, there was a struggle with me trying to listen to lectures. And of course, I'd sit there, I'd make myself sit down, I'd set aside some time and make myself do it.
Yeah,
But I often found myself that I enjoyed doing assignments when I was able to, have some music in the background or something. So that way I could lose myself while listening to music, but also finishing my assignment. So I'm right there with you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And some music, it's hard to get anything else done because it's so aggressive or something. I have a lot of music that is really good background music.
Oh yeah.
If you're listening to it, it's nice, but it's so easy to get lots and lots of work done with it, and all kinds of music, depending on who you are. And
Yeah.
I hate it when I'm giving an exam. Sometimes I give programming exams,
Uh-huh.
and the whole exam is you need to write a program that does this.
Yeah.
And some students want to listen to music while they program, and I'm sympathetic. I do too.
Uh-huh.
But during an exam in the classroom, I mean, I can't
Well,
let you have
like,
headphones in because who knows how you could be trying to cheat with that. So I feel bad, but I have to keep a computer on
hard.
that.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, the thought came up, but it's odd.
Mhm.
Awesome.
I
Well,
I could listen to music while doing pretty much anything.
I'm right there with you. So, I mean, my final question to you is, first of all, thank you for coming on with us. You did great. This is amazing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this. Uh, Final question. This one wasn't listed. Who would you like to nominate, if at all, anybody, to be on El Cafecito next time?
Uh-huh. Well, I love my whole department.
Uh-huh.
So if you want to talk to another computer scientist, they're all great people.
Awesome. All right.
One of them, well, no, more than one of them, did their undergrad here at ASU. So
Okay.
yeah, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think three of them did. So
Oh, all
if
right.
that's a plus. Anyway, my whole department, but I'm biased, so if I had to pick someone from a different department, well, this is still probably biased because the math department's on the same floor. So I
Yeah.
see them all the time. Um, and they're full of great people. I love everybody in my building.
Uh-huh.
Um, have you had Jesse Taylor yet?
I
Do you
don't.
know?
So we've had Dr. Dennis Hall on.
Oh, he's a good one too. Yeah,
He
yeah, yeah.
was amazing. He was
Awesome.
great. But
Yeah.
we'll have to get what was their name? I'm sorry.
Jesse Taylor. Yeah,
Yes.
he's in the math department, and I mean, I could name almost anyone in the math
Okay.
department or computer science. Yeah,
All right.
I know people on campus. He'd be great too. But yeah, Jesse Taylor comes to mind. He is not introverted.
No.
He's really engaging and charismatic and full of stories, and smart and loves what he does, and he'd be a good one.
All right, we'll have to get him out and give him a shout out and let him know that he's been nominated. Well, all right.
Yeah. Well, how'd you find me, if I may ask?
I can't remember, but you weren't nominated, but someone had given us a list of potentials, and they thought that you
Okay.
guys would be great. So it was a list of you, Brittany Miller, people like that from just different members all across campus. Really, it
Oh,
was.
cool. Well, great.
But
Yeah.
thank you for
Well,
thank you for wanting to come on with us and let us interview you.
oh, it's an honor. Yeah, and this was great. Good job, Aaron.
Awesome, thank you. Well, thank you everyone for tuning into this edition of El Cafecito. Be sure to tune in next time.